You and me be cool like my granny butter pecan, and we was maybe friends when we began, but soon became lovers. With that in mind, I hope you don't mind, but I told my spiritual brother that you my soul twin. Or twin flame, whatever the name, I figure we should never be apart. If we be art, you be paint to my canvas. Can you continue to color my life in all your hues? Use my heart like it's yours, cause it's yours. Own it, you own it, earned it with all the love you gave. My life was yours to save, and you showed yourself to be superwoman. I just wanna be your Clark Kent. Can I help you leap your tallest fears in a single bound? I figured we was bound to be bound from the bounce off the dribble. I mean, from the jump, we was clumped like blood cells trying to heal a wound. We be trying to heal our wounds. We couldn't be no closer if we shared the womb. You must be my sister in Christ, Krishna, Horus, Oyar, Oshun, or whatever deity. All I know is I abhor life without you. Wouldn't doubt you couldn't if I tried. And trust me, I have tried. But you could tell me the sky is falling, and I would go catch pieces to place on our walls. My mind's walls is filled with your decor. So know about you, I'm willing to lose all decorum in any forum for her. If it's up, then it's stuck in stars. You are my guiding light, true north. A full moon when days is dark. I search for your softness in my toughest moments. You who make marble out my rough edges smooth, but still strong enough to build what they say real men build houses. And I can't build no house, but I could buy one. And with this heart, build a love real enough to make it a home for your promise to always come home to you. I belong to you like all that stuff you get from Target. And the retention of your love and respect is my life's one true aim, where I would swallow a bouquet of hell's flames before I ever let you feel like you ain't that. And that ain't this. And this ain't bliss. We kiss and cycle happiness between our lips. This feeling of joy so deep rooted you would have to excavate my soul for me to prove it. Lose it, never could. I ain't never met a devil so clever I would let them trick me out of something that was God ordained. They ask for truth and I give you a name. You are my life's only certainty. As consistent as death, in student loans, in taxes. And I know that many done felt the love before, but this here love, a whole nother bracket. You show me daily that understanding and compassion is the true currency of the cosmos. You a being so celestial, God couldn't create you. Your energy was just there, waiting to see if it was worthy of you acknowledging its existence. My existence currently as a result of the sheer magnitude of your will. My only will is that I be made deserving of a being so perfect, because even though we started off as friends, I knew we was destined to become lovers. And so I hope you don't mind, but I told my grandma and them that you my soul twin, or twin flame, whatever the name. I figured we should never be apart. Bless. Hey, it's Mike Curry, aka Messiah the Poet, here on the Spotlight. Y'all tune in and check us out. When I think of like poetry, right, I think of maybe like real like old school stuff, right? I might think of like Edgar Allan Poe or something like that, right? In the sense that like this is written work generally meant to like be seen on a page, generally meant to be read. I think is like the big thing, right? Whereas spoken word to me is kind of where poetry and rap or like hip hop kind of like meet, right? It's like the merger between that. Where like now I'm like vocally telling stories, where like now there's this added element of having to perform and not only be able to like write in a way that's engaging, but also like speak and again like perform to a crowd in a way that's engaging. So if I had to say, right, I think the simplest way to say is like poetry generally for the page, right, meant to be like read, and then spoken word, this like merger of like poetry and like rap, where it's meant to be like performed, and you kind of craft your poetry to be performed and like ingested audibly. And tonight we might set ablaze our inhibitions and burning them well into the midnight oil just to pour it on our skin, inciting a flame of enticement, crafting desire along our limbs, deciding what else could it be but a win. We toss caution to the wind, embracing that whether this be sacred or sin. And we'll thank God and repent when the morning comes. And by Yah's might the night we share never stray from us. Because if you cease to be mine at dawn, I pray the world never know another sunrise. But if it must, let us experience it in unison. You a unicorn. A body, heart, mind, and soul in rare form. Unlike any type of woman I've seen before, you gotta be 1 in 8 billion. And a night with you so much like hitting a lotto, I question if there's a genie in my liquor bottle or God's favor in your Coke bottle frame. If one's essence be thy name, I call you spring. Something to dive into and feel refreshed. I would drink your flesh if possible. Or let you ripple your own water, then squeeze the flavor from your fingers. I beg that every second our skin touch be an eternity in which we linger, a gift. A slow forevers than your mist. Any time spent a twisted fate orchestrated by only the highest of powers. The music we make, an orchestra played while eyes dilate. A staggered breast while legs shake, yearning, placated under a summer star so far away you gotta be eternal to know its warmth. And ain't I dust the remnants of a star long forgotten? And don't my hands travel your spirit like they've traversed it in lives you can't remember but feel somehow your soul cannot forget? Don't you know that all there is all there was, and all there was is all there will be. Everything we've ever needed is here, right now, with the hour high and the lights down. A tangle in a cacophony of sheets, legs, and kisses. I know misfortune to be nothing more than a series of near misses. So tell me, is it luck or affinity that you find I'm always right where you need? At the right time, at the right place, from the perfect angle, at the perfect tempo, at the barrier of give and embrace, force and restraint, aggression and tenderness, tend to you like it's my calling, my purpose. Ain't it my destiny to make you feel like there are things in this life worth living for, worth fighting for, worth striving to call your own? I am yours in a way that makes me forget my name. You call me mine like it's my government. I answer like it's a call from God. I heard a scientist say, the mere fact we exist is a cosmic anomaly. Beloved, we're barely supposed to be here, yet we're here, breathing life into the improbable, caught in a divine web of the miraculous. How could I not treasure this moment, this present of closeness where we feel so close-knit we gotta be cut from the same cloth, stitched into the same fabric, and 2 jars filled with the same essence, candles molded by the same wax. Wise facts when I say that it's a must that we burn, well into the midnight oils, setting fire to our desire, knowing all we desire is to be together tonight. Bless. So I think the reality is it started from when I was young, right? Not necessarily poetry, but the love of words, right, started when I was young. I remember being a kid, and there was a summer where my grandmother was like, hey, you're not allowed outside until you learn how to read, right? So I'm probably, real young at this point. But I remember that summer sitting in the house in our little library kind of area, just going through just books on books, like encyclopedias, child books, whatever. I think my love for, again, words started out there. When I got to school, used to do the little writing prompts and the FCAT and so on and so forth. I would do those and I would do well on those, right? And I think that kind of affirmed to me that oh, okay, this is something that you're good at, right? And I think part of growing in any art form is getting that external recognition that hey, you're good at this. This is something that you can do. So I think I started to fall in love there. And I think, I got the traditional story of black boys from our time where I used to rap with my homies, on the corner, just spitting whatever on some stuff. But I don't think at that time I had ever really considered it a real passion of mine. It was just, a way to express myself at the time. And then I got, into sports. When I got into sports, I kind of distanced myself from all of that, right? My focus became solely ball. I wanted to play ball. That got me to college, thankfully. I ended up, again, going to FIU, then coming to FAMU. When I got to FAMU, I had a person invite me to a Voices show. Voices is a spoken word troupe on FAMU campus. And I remember going to that show and just seeing people spit their poems. At that time, I had started back writing a little bit just because I'm starting to stop playing football and so on and so forth. So when I see them do spoken word, I'm oh, I can do that. I can do that. So then, I think I went home and wrote my first poem. And I started kicking it with people in Voices. I ended up getting in Black on Black Rhyme. And really, again, like similar to the experience when I was like a child, where I just had like people affirm my talent, right? Like I wrote a poem, I just happened to go perform it. People told me, "Hey, you good at this?" And I honestly don't think I was that good at it at that time, right? I do not think my early poetry was like that. But it just, showed that I was in like a supportive community. And from there, I just started writing like every day. Every day, I'm surrounding myself with other poets who are also like writing every day. So getting in the community of like other poets, other artists, really is what allowed me to like say, okay, I consider myself a poet now, and in me being a poet, this is something that I do, right? Like I write poetry. So that's how I became a poet, I think. Rich folks say money ain't everything, because more money, more problems. And poor folks say with their Monique face, I would like to see. Because right now I believe all my problems come attached with a price tag. Even my emotional state costs a nice bag. I paid for my therapist's new Telfar duffel. He called it Teffy. I call it Neffy, short for nephew. I would have asked to be his goddad, but he know me too well to think I'd care for it if he passed. I never think too much about the price of cars. The last whip I wanted was a baby blue bubble Caprice. I was more capricious then. I'm less flighty now. I'm only driver's freedom. I check my savings daily to see if I saved enough of that. I could do a bit better balancing my budget, but these impromptu buys are sure helping me self-soothe. So I say to myself, like anything external could ever truly offer solace to a soul. So I know I don't quite know the difference between rich anxiety and poor anxiety. Just know I'd rather have anxiety with food in my stomach and debt collectors off my back than whatever the opposite of that is. And truthfully, there's just too much yin in my yang. Too much money is everything, not enough money ain't a thing. Talk back, switching 4 lanes, well, maybe just stay in my 1 lane. I really like to mind my own business. It's just all the books I read on business say I can't increase my business or improve my net worth if I don't focus on my network. So, hey y'all, my name Mike Curry on the weekdays. And days we don't play or pretend to be anything more than what we are. Days we accept that most of us are just regular people working regular menial jobs because the system's job isn't to problem solve, it's to slave and rob us. And we place faith in because in God we trust, the Stockholm of it all. I got a love-hate relationship with capitalism. It at times feels just like religion. Like I know it done messed up a lot of stuff, but at least it saved a couple people along the way. By the way, I think I'll be different. Like I'll be the one to change the world if I just make a couple million, knowing no person with a couple million has ever changed the world before. The system has always been broke by people that were damn near broke. The joke of it all, I'm appalled at how they capitalize off our flaws in art. And baby, living is an artistry. Take our lives from us. Tell us to stay within a box or find ourselves hanging from a flat line. I never really been a fan of geometry. I always been bent out of shape. My mind a wire hanger being jammed in a car door. Like I know I got the keys to a better day somewhere, but since I can't find them, I'm just gonna break my way in. I read a supposedly good book that spoke of us all being born into sin, which at first didn't make sense, but now I relent. And as a consequence, I can tell you what I think they meant, because what I think they meant is that we were born under oppressive systems that demonize us for being unable or unwilling to combat their oppression. The question is, will you play their game? And if so, get ready for a long ride. And if not, get ready for a long ride or a short one. People die every day because we are constantly betrayed due to indoctrinated inclinations that would have us called another brother, but still let that man starve. This is crazy. Life could be marvelous, like a utopian society where we learn to value one another's humanity over one another's sobriety. Ain't it crazy how the war on drugs, the war on poverty, the war on sexuality, the war on blackness has turned us all into enemy combatants. You are either for the cause or against the cause, because rich folks say, full stop, money is everything, because more money, more problems, and no money, more problems, and poor folks say, I would like to see a world where I can believe at least some of my problems, I mean, any of my problems, matter to anybody but me. Yeah.